Yes, the FIA does think you're an idiot. And apparently FOM and Librarity think you're stupid as well. You ever get the feeling that the people running the sport think you're a bit thick? Not in a we value your feedback kind of way. More in a here's a shiny graphic, don't ask questions kind of way. So today, after the Miami Sprint, or as I call it, 19 laps of strategically managed sadness, we need to discuss why Formula One's leadership seems increasingly determined to gaslight fans rather than fix the racing. It's a strategy. G'day legends, Pop Papaya here, filling in for my son while he's out enjoying the Miami sights. Apparently, according to the FIA, FOM and Librarity media, you're an idiot. Not because you crashed into a wall at Monaco after 3 beers and a shoey. No. You're stupid because if you aren't enjoying 19 laps of battery-powered scale-electric boredom, then clearly you just don't understand the technical brilliance of these oversized electric fridge magnets. That's right. The problem isn't the racing. It's you. Your tiny peasant brain simply cannot comprehend why watching cars harvest battery charge while tiptoeing around in aerodynamic turbulence is supposedly peak motorsport. And if you dare say, gee, this is a bit shit compared to actual racing, well, apparently you're just uncultured, a simpleton, a fool, an unsophisticated bogan who lacks the intellectual capacity to appreciate Formula Beige. So after the Miami Sprint, where almost nothing happened except the FIA once again proving consistency is more mythical than a Ferrari strategy masterclass, we need to discuss why Papaya Koala firmly believes the powers running this sport are no longer trying to entertain fans. They're trying to gaslight them. So grab your papaya smoothie, strap into your overpriced grandstand seat, and prepare yourselves, because this one may require more brain power than Librarity thinks you possess. This episode contains sarcasm, dry Australian humour, dangerous levels of pattern recognition, and opinions that may cause emotional distress to FIA officials, Kimi defenders, Arrow PR teams, and anyone still pretending History Boy isn't being force-fed harder than an energy drink sponsorship. If that sounds upsetting, you may be entitled to a Librarity-approved support pamphlet explaining why your criticism is invalid. Qualifying went about as well as can be expected in these oversized battery-powered scale-electric abominations. Oscar looked capable of pole, then one tiny mistake dropped him from potential P1 to P3. Kimi, multiple mistakes. Not one, not a cheeky little wobble, multiple, still P2. Because apparently when your car is built by the FIA's favoured engineering department, consequences are optional. And Lando takes pole. Now here's where it gets spicy. Because Lando was impeding. Not maybe, not debatable, not if you squint at the telemetry. No, this was acknowledged by the FIA impeding. Clear, done, but no penalty. Why? Extenuating circumstances. Yep, that magical stewarding phrase that appears or disappears depending entirely on whose passport is involved. Apparently had to slow to create a gap after being passed unexpectedly. Right. Now, cast your mind back to Qatar 2024, when Max got penalised for impeding George. Neither driver on a flying lap. Both managing gaps. Standard stuff. Except Max gets slapped with a penalty and a penalty point. Because he didn't meet Delta by only 0.2 seconds. Meanwhile, George, 0.8 seconds off Delta, but no penalty for George. Just vibes and lies. And now suddenly, those same extenuating circumstances exist, but only when it's convenient. Funny that. So once again, consistency in stewarding remains about as real as Audi title hopes. So Lando keeps pole, no consequences, no questions. Move along, nothing to see here. Before we even get going, Hulk's car catches fire, which honestly may have been the most exciting combustion event of the sprint. Young Arvid, starting from pit lane for a team infringement, develops issues, and that's a DNS. So even before lights out, Miami Sprint was already trying to manufacture drama. Kimi gets another trademark launch, which is to say, not great. Drops back to roughly where he'd be without the space shuttle strapped to his back. Oscar and Charles capitalized beautifully and moved ahead. And then, Kimi deployed his now signature maneuver, moving under braking. Again. Charles understandably is not thrilled.
Kimi is so bad on wheel to wheel. He moved under braking again. It's unbelievable. We're going to crash.
Yes, Charles, we've noticed that too. It's not subtle anymore. It's not rare. It's a habit, and it's supposed to be worth 10 seconds and 2 penalty points. But apparently, not today, or last week, or any week. Somehow Kimi keeps escaping proper punishment, as if Toto has compromat on the entire FIA board. Track limits? Also a hobby. Repeatedly exceeded, collecting them like Pokemon cards. Some get noted, some mysteriously don't. Messy racecraft? Constant. Overhyped commentary comparisons to Senna, Schumacher, and every motorsport deity imaginable? Relentless. We're told repeatedly that Kimi is a generational talent. Not messy, not inconsistent, just confident. Yep, confident seems to be the Sheep team's new favorite adjective for Kimi. Reality. Kimi has some talent. You don't get to F1 without it.
But then again, Kimi's F2 was so ordinary that, if we're being honest, wasn't really worthy of an F1 seat. So, generational legend? Yeah, maybe just calm down a little.
Right now, he looks more like an overly aggressive rookie in a suspiciously dominant car. They ask Fat Rat about Oscar. Now watch closely, because this is a pattern. No matter the question, his first instinct is always praise Lando, then subtly undermine Oscar. It's becoming so predictable it may as well be printed on McLando merch. Fat Rat says,
Lando is controlling well!
And then,
Oscar is under some pressure.
or,
Lando's pretty comfortable.
and then.
Oscar is struggling a little bit with grip.
Meanwhile, Oscar is existing in dirty air, strategically inconvenienced by race circumstances and dodgy snake strategy. Again, but this happens every time Fat Rat is asked a question. Every time, without fail. Even when the question is nothing to do with Lando, even when Oscar is the one doing the better job. It's almost impressive. Like a reflex. The narrative management is becoming less subtle than a Drive to Survive villain edit. We finally got a brief moment of actual racing. Lewis and Max battled. Both left the track. Max was told to give the place back. He did. Then promptly reclaimed it because, unlike some, he understands racing is supposed to involve overtaking. Shocking concept, I know. Lando wins. Oscar P2. Charles P3. And the vibe? Oddly flat. Lando's radio sounded about as emotionally charged as someone reading tax law. Because apparently victories only feel truly meaningful when Oscar is actively sacrificed for them. Snake gives Oscar the classic. Nice job, Oscar. Strong P2. We're really happy with that. Which loosely translates to, perfect. Exactly where we wanted you. Behind Lando. Oscar's response? Short, polite, but sounding thoroughly over it. And honestly, wouldn't you be? No driver should have to put up with an engineer who is either grossly incompetent or actively working against them. Eventually, after what felt like the stewards remembering they had jobs, Kimi received a track limits penalty. 1. Just 1. Despite enough infringements to qualify for a loyalty rewards card. So down he drops, 2 places. So the system does work. Sort of, eventually, sometimes, if you wait long enough. Charles apologizes to Kimi, not for being wrong, just for saying it out loud. Which is a bit of a shame, because honestly, he wasn't wrong and it needed saying. But given how hard Librarity and the FIA seem to be pushing the history boy narrative, Papaya Koala suspects that Charles will face repercussions for speaking the uncomfortable truth. Crowd is subdued. You've got a handful of enthusiastic humans shouting near the mic doing their absolute best, but the rest? Polite, measured, not exactly losing their minds. And in the background, the lingering boos that still follow Lando everywhere he goes. Oscar gets to demo drive Lewis Legend's 2008 championship-winning car. And look, whatever your take on everything else, that's pretty cool. Last year, he got to drive Senna's car. This year, Lewis's. And again, Oscar not Lando. Make of that what you will. The race itself? Let's be honest, not much happened. A couple of moments, a few scraps. But mostly, a 19-lap procession, battery management, strategy offsets.
And commentary trying very hard to convince us that this is thrilling.
Which brings us back to the opening thought. Because alongside all this, there's a narrative being pushed. Hard.
They are no longer trying to convince fans this is exciting. No, now they're trying to convince fans that if they don't think it's exciting, it's because they're too dumb to understand it. Technical explainers, condescending commentary. And once it's explained to you properly, you'll love it.
But F1 fans do understand the technical side. That's part of why they're here.
They don't need it simplified. They need it to be worth watching. No, F1 fans do not need prettier cars or racy-looking cars. We need better racing. Actual racing. Bravest-of-the-brave stuff. Not battery management exercises with occasional fireworks.
So instead of fixing the racing, we're getting history boy, generational talent, transformation, racy-looking cars, endless comparisons, and a whole lot of explanation. Trying to convince us that what we're seeing is better than what it feels like.
Max warned us in 2023. He was right. Many drivers are saying it now. Fans are saying it. Viewership trends suggest people are voting with their remotes. They're switching off. Yet instead of fixing the core product, they're selling us propaganda. Then came perhaps one of the most tragically disappointing sheep segments of the weekend.
No Me Sheep, in painstaking detail, enthusiastically informed us all that these Franken cars are apparently fantastic because they look racy.
Yes, you heard that correctly. A former racer. A woman who genuinely helped push forward acceptance and credibility for women in motorsport. Essentially delivered the racing equivalent of.
But they're pretty, so who cares if they're rubbish?
It was pure style over substance nonsense.
Now that kind of commentary doesn't just insult fans, it actively undermines the credibility of women in racing.
Because female racers have fought incredibly hard to be respected for knowledge, skill, and legitimacy. Not aesthetic fluff. So when a prominent female motorsport figure starts parroting corporate-approved pretty cars equals better racing drivel, it doesn't help. It hurts. Massively. It hands ammunition to every dinosaur critic who ever doubted women's place in motorsport.
Which is heartbreaking, because progress has been hard-earned. Women in racing deserve voices that reinforce their expertise,
not marketing scripts that sound like rejected handbag commercials. Honestly, for someone who should know better, it was an own goal of spectacular proportions. Formula One fans are not stupid. We don't need to be patronized. We don't need artificial narratives. We do not need TikTok poses, fake history arcs, or endless commentary comparing every rookie to Senna. We don't need marketing spin. We just need real racing. That is all.
So what do you reckon, legends? Is Librarity's narrative working?
Do you prefer real racing or battery-powered strategy theater?
Is this genuinely great racing, and we're just missing it? Or has something important been lost along the way?
Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, or don't. Live your truth. But if you do enjoy a mildly unhinged koala trying to make sense of all this, hit the button. Or join the Koala crew and buy me a coffee. Because unlike FIA logic, caffeine still works. Pop Papaya out!
If you like pina koalas and you hate battery drain, if you're not into Lyco and you have half a brain,